Hello fellow travelers and welcome to the Hard Light Network. So today's video is going to go down a little bit differently than normal. Usually in these videos I'm talking about some sort of current event or maybe even a video game topic, but today I wanted to talk about something a little more personal. In today's video I want to talk to you guys about why you should be a YouTuber. I guess this video could also double as an about me for why I became a YouTuber. Recently, a friend and fellow creator sent me a link to a post on Twitter. This thread covered a topic that is near and dear to this channel and that of fellow archivists everywhere. LindyMan at Paul Scalise on Twitter writes, "Ever since I logged in as a kid, I heard the same thing. The internet is forever. Be careful what you put on there. It will be there until the end of time. Everyone heard the same thing. It was the modern boogeyman. It was supposed to scare you. It turns out the opposite is true. Companies have to start making money now. Storage is expensive. Try looking for content before 2010, GeoCities or AngelFire websites, or even MySpace accounts. Lots of dead links are out there. You spent your life online, you have pictures, created songs, maybe created videos or wrote blogs or books or tweets. How are you going to save those things from being deleted? People tell you to trust the cloud, but can we?" And what Paul is posting here is 100% correct. Every student of history knows about the existential forces of entropy. And if you're a fan of Eastern religious philosophy, you know that life is impermanent. So what are we to do? If everything eventually falls into the void, then what's the point of creating anything? Well, I would argue that the answer is actually in the problem. In his post, LindyMan actually identifies the issue. He states that it's just not financially viable for these companies to host this content anymore. And there's nothing wrong with that because you can't run a company on hopes and dreams. Eventually, they do have to turn a profit in order to keep the doors open. He also mentions the limited lifespan of CDs, hard drives, and flash drives, while somewhat jokingly pointing at the longevity of the cuneiform tablets. But it really isn't about the medium that our sketches and doodles, our screenplays and novels are written on. But LindyMan also points out the necessary role of institutions in the preserving of information, art, history, and culture. But these institutions aren't autonomous systems. They can't unilaterally decide what culture is worth preserving. No, for that you need dedicated individuals, people who remember, people who are dedicated to preserving the past for our collective descendants in the future. But how does this all relate to content creation? Why does this mean that you should become a YouTuber? Or a Twitch streamer, or a blogger on some website? For me, the answer is simple, and it's the reason why I started this channel in the first place. And as corny or cliche as it might sound, this really is the easiest, most acceptable way to leave a mark on history. Years ago, at the inception of YouTube, nobody would have ever dreamed that people on the platform would be able to achieve the heights of popularity and success that they have. Look at content creators like Mr. Beast, who started out just making funny videos with his friends, but is now one of the most famous and influential people on the face of the earth. Look at all the joy and opportunities that he's been able to create through his content, not just for other creators, but for his audience as well. Just look at the sheer amount of charity and philanthropy that has been driven by his success, and think about all the people who have been positively affected by it. What if I told you that that amount of positivity and goodwill was just scratching the surface of what we're able to achieve online? What if that energy and that influence was turned back towards the culture? What if it was dedicated to preserving this thing that we're all taking part in? That's my major goal here, and I hope that maybe, in some small way, I can motivate you to participate in that as well. For those of you who are interested in making content, start and don't stop. Keep expanding the platform. Keep drawing new people in. Share your interests and passions with other people. Form communities around similar topics. The longer you do and the more you participate, the longer that those things will live on in our culture. Even if it is just on some small channel like mine. And even if you aren't interested in making videos or being an influencer, there's other ways that you can contribute and have your work seen too. In my Discord, there are all sorts of people, from artists and writers to musicians and game developers. And by sharing their content, they're able to get vital feedback that helps them refine their craft. When I first started making YouTube videos, I didn't know what to do. I just looked up other YouTube videos on how to make YouTube videos, and I did it all myself. I quickly realized that there's really no such thing as a lone wolf content creator. Even if you are doing all the writing, editing, filming, and uploading by yourself, you still depend on a vast community of people to watch your stuff and spread it. And it's in that community where you will find your longevity. Fans will begin to contribute and make their own experiences, and by doing so, maybe they'll find motivation to carry on with their own work. As the community grows, it also begins to sustain itself. One of my favorite niches here on YouTube is Zelda gaming content. There are plenty of creators with entire channels dedicated to playing and replaying all the old Zelda games, from the Nintendo 64 up to the GameCube and modern generation consoles like the Switch. But not only that, there is another subset within that community that theorizes and creates entirely new concepts and ideas for these games that are decades old. Bigger channels like Hyrule Gamer and Zeltic, and even smaller, more speculative channels like Retroatron and Hyrule Monkey. These are some of my favorite channels to watch in my free time, not just because of the creative effort that they put into their videos, but because they use old content to make new content. And by doing so, they extend the shelf life of the original Zelda games that they use for inspiration. They introduce an entirely new generation of gamers to these games that I grew up with, and they preserve and draw from our past in creative and interesting ways. But to tell you the truth, guys, this isn't just limited to old media content. We can do the exact same thing with basically every aspect of our lives. And like I said at the beginning of the video, the more of our past that we're able to preserve, the more influence we have on the culture of the future. Which brings me to my final point of why you should be a YouTuber. I don't want to get too sappy on you guys, and I'm not here to fill your head with a bunch of platitudes. I genuinely believe in this stuff. But I genuinely do believe each and every person has something worth preserving. Whether it's their feelings, their experiences, passion projects, movies, video games, music, even art. We've each got a special treasure that is worthy of seeing the future. And the preservation of those treasures doesn't lie in hard drives, CDs, the cloud, books, or even clay tablets, but in the hearts and minds and traditions of all the people who come after us. So whatever it is that brings you joy or satisfies you intellectually, whatever you think is critical to our human experience, you have an obligation to see that through to the future. And like I said, the easiest, most accessible way to do that is by joining YouTube, creating an account, and begin putting your content out there. Participate in the community. Like, comment, and share other people's videos. Engage in the living and constantly changing community that we find here on this website. That's going to do it for this one, guys. Like I said, it's a little bit more of a personal video. This is just a topic that's very near and dear to my heart, and it's, like I said, the main reason why I started this channel. I enjoy the creative outlet that YouTube offers, but more than that, I see this as my opportunity to leave a mark on history. And even if it is just a footnote in the annals of time, I'll know that I have my place here with you guys. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, leave a like, and until next time, love you guys, safe travels.